I found out about my wife's affair when the police called to ask about her partner. So there I was, just a regular Thursday evening, feet up, sipping on a cold one after a long day at work. My name's Liam, by the way, living the typical life in Dublin with my wife Siobhan. We've been married for 10 years, together for 15. Life was good, or so I thought. Anyway, the phone rings and it's the Gardaí, Irish police. Now, if you're like me, you'd think, what the hell did I do? But no, they asked me a question that sent my world spinning. Mr. O'Sullivan, can you confirm the whereabouts of your wife's partner? I almost choked on my beer. What the fuck are you talking about? I snapped back, thinking it was a prank or something. The officer paused, then explained, we have reason to believe your wife's partner was involved in a hit-and-run accident. We need to confirm some details. Partner? Hit and run? My brain was trying to keep up, but nothing made sense. I asked them to hold on while I called Siobhan. No answer. Panic set in. I told the officer I had no idea what he was talking about, and he suggested I come down to the station. So I did, my mind racing 1,000,000 miles a minute. At the station, I was met by Officer Byrne, who looked at me with a mix of sympathy and suspicion. He handed me a statement to read. It detailed how Siobhan's supposed partner, a guy named Eamon, was involved in a hit-and-run accident earlier that evening. Siobhan was with him when it happened. I felt my stomach drop. Eamon, I knew the name. He was an old friend of ours, someone we'd lost touch with over the years. How the hell did he become her partner? Officer Byrne explained that they were found together, but Eamon had fled the scene, leaving Siobhan behind. She was being held for questioning. I asked to see her, and when I did, the look on her face told me everything. She broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. Liam, I'm so sorry, she kept repeating. I felt like I was in a bad dream. She explained that she and Eamon had reconnected a year ago. One thing led to another, and they started an affair. I was livid, hurt, and confused all at once. How could she do this to us? Back home, after Siobhan was released, we had the most explosive argument of our lives. How long, Siobhan? How fucking long? I yelled, pacing the living room. She sat on the couch, tears streaming down her face, barely able to speak. Almost a year, she admitted. It was a mistake, Liam. I didn't mean for it to happen. A mistake? A year-long mistake? With our friend, no less. I was shaking with anger. What else don't I know? She told me everything. How they met up accidentally at a pub one night. How one thing led to another. They'd been meeting in secret, lying to me for months. I felt like a fool. And now this hit and run? My wife was involved in a criminal investigation because of her affair. I threw a glass against the wall. I can't fucking believe this, Siobhan. You've wrecked everything. She kept apologizing, but it didn't mean anything. Our trust was shattered, and our marriage was in ruins. The next few days were a blur. I took time off work, couldn't face anyone. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Friends started to notice something was wrong, but I couldn't bear to tell them. How do you explain that your wife of 10 years had been cheating on you with a friend, and now there's a criminal investigation involved? Siobhan moved out to stay with her sister. We needed space. I started seeing a therapist, trying to make sense of my emotions. It was hard. The anger, the betrayal, the sadness. I loved Siobhan, but how could we come back from this? Eamon was still on the run, and the Gardaí were searching for him. Every time the phone rang, my heart would race, thinking it was more bad news. I felt like my life was falling apart, piece by piece. Months went by, and things slowly started to settle. Siobhan and I were in touch, mostly about practical things. Our conversations were civil but strained. She was trying to make amends, going to therapy herself, trying to show she was committed to fixing things. But it was hard for me to see past the betrayal. One evening I got a call from Officer Byrne again, Dad. They'd found Eamon. He was in custody, facing charges for the hit and run. There was a weird sense of closure in knowing he'd been caught, but it didn't fix what had happened. Siobhan and I eventually sat down for a serious talk. We both knew things couldn't go back to how they were, but we also knew we had to find a way forward, whether that meant together or apart. We decided to take things one day at a time, focusing on ourselves and seeing where life would take us. It's been a year since that fateful phone call. Siobhan and I are still separated, but we're working on rebuilding our friendship. It's not easy, but we're trying. Sometimes life throws you a curveball, and all you can do is pick yourself up and keep moving forward. So, yeah, that's my story. Crazy, right? Life's a mad ride, but you just have to hang on and hope for the best. Thanks for sticking around to the end.